coming tonight to our Poor Vote Turnout meeting. Our quest at Poor Vote is to promote voting by the poor. It's a simple quest, it's a very simple thing. And tonight I'm really excited to have Raj Sherman is going to come and speak to us a little bit about poverty and voting. Let's have a big hand for Raj Sherman, leader of the Alberta Liberals.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to join you. First, let's get to know one another. When it comes to poverty, I was born in India when it was just a developing country in a village where my parents had to flee because of the partition of India. So I grew up in a low-income immigrant family. We came to Canada in '72, to Squamish, BC. So we know what poverty is like. Because my parents were educated, but really they had the lowest paying jobs. There was a lot of discrimination in this country at that time. And still is. And I believe we need to do better. I think we've come a long way. But when it comes to improving the lives of regular working folk, I think we're taking a step back. Alberta is the best place in the world in which to live. I believe so. I know so. There are a lot of good things happening here. We got a great economy. But there's a lot of things that aren't working well. As an inner city doctor who's worked at the Royal Attic for 1992, I've had to look after a lot of people living on the streets. A lot of people in poverty, lots of families falling apart, a lot of good working folks that are struggling and falling in hard times. In the wealthiest place in the world, we should not have these problems. You know, I was astounded when I came to learn that in Alberta we have 90,000 children that live in poverty. And poor kids come from poor families. We said, why is this happening? And I believe the reason it's happening is because of government policy. You know, as you know, I was in the Conservative government. Once I became aware of the effects of government policy on people, whether it's in the health system, the education system, and the bottom line, and where your money's going, I said, I can't be a part of this government anymore. I want to discuss politics a little bit. In order to vote, first you have to inform yourself who you're voting for, what you're voting for, and what the political parties stand for. Like, the Conservative belief is that if you give a small group of people a lot of money, that the benefit will trickle down to you, the regular working people. You know, it's called trickle-down economics. So Reaganomics and Margaret Thatcher, that's what the policies are. Policies of flat tax, let's lower taxes, and the more rich people we have, the more the businesses will do well, the more regular working people do well. That's the theory, and that's the ideology, and that's the belief. Liberal belief and liberal policy is that, hey, we believe in business. We think business and free enterprise is a good thing. We believe job and wealth creation is a good thing. But we believe the government must play a role in it. We also believe essential public services that build a strong society is also a good thing. We need a strong economy and a strong society. And our belief system is that we need a strong middle class. We need more people going from poverty into the middle income area, into the middle class. And it's okay to escape to the middle class and become wealthy. And when you become wealthy, don't forget where you came from. Don't forget that was a good public education system that gave you the education you needed, you or your employees. It was a good public health system that looked after your ailing family when you weren't so rich. It was good public roads and bridges and schools and hospitals, good public buildings that actually were essential for your prosperity. And that when you do become wealthy, and it's okay to become wealthy, well, you gotta, you know, if you're a billionaire, you got 1,000, 2,000 hard-working people with children that need to be educated and dressed and cared for, and they got parents and they're working hard for you, but they're not rich. But their children need a chance to live that Alberta dream. So our policies are sort of in the middle. You know, we got our New Democrat friends, and we agree with them on many policies. Where we disagree is they're really anti-business, and if you're anti-business and you don't have job creation, and you don't have jobs, you don't have wealth creation, we can't provide healthcare, education, or any social programs. So that's where we're sort of the centrist, common sense party where, hey, we want people to succeed, we want job creation, but we also want fair wages. We want a living wage. You can't have working poor in this province. And everyone has to have a chance at getting access to skills. The way out of poverty is one, you gotta have good health. Access to good health care. And two, access to good education and skills and training. And other things, you need access to childcare, quality world-class childcare for young families. Moms and dads both have to work because it's so expensive right now. And childcare is really expensive. If it's private, it's not that high quality. You need low cost, high quality childcare. You get a lot of single moms. Single mothers have 2-3 kids. Let's deliver that childcare in the school. Let's make sure the children get the health care in the school as well. And let's make sure, those moms, when they work a good day's work, that they get paid a fair wage so they can pay their bills. Let's lower the cost of electricity. Our property taxes shouldn't be so high. It's just not right when we're in an energy super province. We have such high bills, such high property taxes. Not only do you need a fair wage, you also need the cost of living to come down, and it has to be reasonable. You have working people who have children in school, and they have to pay school fees of $500 a year or $600 a year, the school busing fees. What working family can afford that has 3-4 kids? You can't afford it. The cost of tuition is $7,000-8,000 of tuition and books and fees. If you're a working family who's living out of town, you have 2 kids who want to go to college, $1,000 a month in room and board, and cost of tuition. Young people are choosing an easy $15-20 an hour job and dropping out of school in record numbers because they don't want a death sentence. So these are the government policies that we want to fix. So the Alberta Liberals, we want the pipelines to go through. We want them done right. We want the world best environmental standards. We don't want Albertans to pay the price on failed environmental policies. And when we get that oil out of the ground, let's create as many jobs as we can, get as much value out of the oil as we can. Let's produce plastics, more manufacturing, better jobs. To get those jobs, more investment in skills training is essential. And hey, if you can't look after yourself in this society, it's our moral duty to look after you. That's what moral societies do. If your health fails, or you have a mental health problem, you have an addiction problem, it's our duty to get you healthy. Let's get you healthy, and if you can't work, you're unable to work, we got to look after you. Now the government, their usual trick is they got a lot of spin machinery, a lot of advertising. They spend a lot of money that should probably go to you to make your lives easier on advertising in the newspapers, on the radios. It's called spin. Keep calm, carry on, everything is fine. They got all these fancy spin masters to tell you, don't worry, everything is okay. But you know what, everything's not okay in the wealthiest place in the world. You folks know that. I know that. Many people know that. Many people are struggling today. So you got to inform yourself of the policies. The Alberta Liberals, we want to reduce child poverty. We want to reduce family poverty. We want everyone to have a chance to enjoy the prosperity of this province. And good, enlightened policies are the key. We want to lower your taxes, lower your bills, lower your cost of education, lower your cost of living. And if you need an income supplement to feed your children, well, we need to get your children fed, because they are the future. So once you inform yourself, you got to get out and vote. You have to get out and vote. You got to find out where to vote, when to vote, find out where the advanced polls are. You got 4 days of voting in the advanced polls. You don't just have to vote on voting day. But to vote, you got to make sure you have identification. Many people don't have fixed addresses, especially the low-income folks. But if you have identification, you can fill out an affidavit with Elections Alberta saying, I live in this area. You swear an affidavit, swear an oath that you're allowed to vote. But you got to find out where to do that and how to do it. Now, media, social media, unfortunately, many folks are low income, or you don't have cell phones, you don't have computers, you don't have a fixed address. But that's where by word of mouth is most important. Talk to one another. Organize like this. Right now there's about 15 people here? Well, make sure you grow this group. Okay, find the right person to vote for, the right party's policies. I think the Liberal policies are the ones that are the best, that will end poverty, or reduce poverty significantly. But make sure when it's time to vote, hundreds of you go to the polls. Spread the word. Because at the end of the day, this province belongs to you, belongs to me, and we believe that every Albertan should share in our prosperity. And we simply believe that there's a better way to do things here. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity.